He was a shot caller, and at some point developed a very, very fearsome reputation.
Kapoor and another man were accused of sexually assaulting and sodomizing a 21-year-old woman in their hotel room last year.
It's not a crime for me to be with any girl I want to be with. It's a crime for that girl to turn that into a rape charge. It was her who sodomized me. It wasn't me who went down in the dance club and ate her out. It was her in the dance club who had oral sex with me. She should be charged, not me.
Tupac felt like Haitian Jack was there too, but wasn't accused, and he was, and he got mad about that, and apparently said something to one of the reporters in New York. The item got put out on the street, and shortly thereafter comes the incident at Quad Studios. His typical way of operating was someone would call him and say, "I want you to do a track for me." And he'd say, "Okay, give me $7,000 cash, and I'll show up, I'll get the cash, I'll lay down the track, no paperwork." So he is lured to Quad Studios under the auspices of this sort of arrangement where he's going to pick up some cash and do a track. He went over, and when he got into the lobby, saw these two guys in camouflage.
In a bizarre twist of events, rap singer Tupac Shakur checked himself out of Bellevue Hospital late Wednesday night after the 23-year-old was shot 5 times early that same morning inside the lobby of a Times Square recording studio.
He apparently tries to pull his gun out of his belt, and his gun discharges. The way the bullets went into his body, there's no way that a shooter coming across could have hit the trajectory of those bullets. The report said that there were 5 shots fired. He's got a wound that grazed his head, so another gun had to be the bullet that grazed his forehead. So shots had to have been fired at him, but the shots that actually went into his body, it would appear, came from his own gun. Apparently Tupac found out about this and sought out some physicians to sign an affidavit, confirming that he'd been shot, because he was concerned that this idea that he'd actually shot himself would make him not look authentic.
The word on the streets is that it was a warning to Tupac. Who was it coming from? Listen to the Machiavelli album. That's all I can say. Listen to the Machiavelli album. I don't think it's a coincidence that you can't find that album anymore.
It's a song called Against All Odds, a song about a guy named Haitian Jack. We're grateful Kevin Powell gave the interview, but he really didn't want to do it. And part of the reason he didn't want to do it is because of all the really dangerous, crazy people that, are surrounding, a story like this. He'd been a journalist at Vibe and at Rolling Stone. He'd interviewed Eazy-E and Suge Knight and Dre and all these people. He had knowledge that literally no other journalist in the country had about this. So, I had, basically begged him to be interviewed, and he'd been, quite reluctant to do so.
I told people, I was doing this interview, I told people this documentary was happening. They're like, that's crazy. Why are they doing that? Why would you do the interview?
I knew very little about Haitian Jack before we got to New York, and it was really our New York screening. We had a lot of people there, Nelson George and some high-level music executives. And I happened to see after the screening that Kevin Powell was concerned about a particular guy that was there. I noticed the guy. I mean, he had a very distinctive appearance, and light-skinned guy from the Dominican Republic. When Haitian Jack finds out that this is in the film, he apparently freaks out on Kevin. I get back to my hotel room, and this is like 3 in the morning, and there are 3 or 4 messages from Kevin Powell, and he is absolutely terrified. You got to call Haitian Jack. You got to call him, and you got to get this out of the film. And I'm playing back in my mind how hard it was to get him to do the interview in the first place. So I picked up the phone. I called Lydia Harris, hoping that she'd know where Haitian Jack was. She goes, "He's right here." Hands her phone to him. Super short conversation, just right to the point. I said, "Okay, we'll cut it. Done. My thinking was, I don't know that I said it explicitly to him, but Kevin Powell's safety is much more important than that line in the film.